Welcome to another week, week 5, and we are here live in Las Vegas. It's a little earlier in the week than usual. We're coming to you on a Monday. We got another big week of football, maybe the biggest of the season. There's a full program going on across the leagues. In midweek, we don't do midweek games for our predictions, but they kind of make it tricky because you wonder if a team gets your team doesn't have a good performance, they can put it right quickly at the weekend, or sometimes a bad performance can cause lag into the weekend as well. So I usually wait to get the predictions out maybe to Wednesday this week, and it's just a lot going on. And today I know for our UK people it's a bank holiday as well. Not for us, but we got a great action-packed show. Sam, highlights for you from week 4. I believe you had to get out of bed very early on Saturday. Tell us about that.
You mean get out of the couch?
So you didn't actually go to bed?
Yeah, I slept on the couch for like 3 hours.
So let me guess, you play games till 1 a.m.
1 a.m.
You just slept
Stay
on
on
the
my
couch.
phone for bed and slept on the couch. Got up about 4:25, praying that United don't lose, and then we won.
So we can now say that result against Liverpool a week ago was the start of something better because they followed it up with a win.
They did, but they did not play as good as they did. But
Excellent.
we still got the result, so that's all I care.
That's a good result. Yeah,
It
that was
is.
a tricky game.
Away from home too.
Who were your star performers in that week?
Dallo
Dallo played well. He got
really
an
well,
assist.
and Martinez again.
Yeah.
Centre back. So
Well, we'll get into it a little bit because also in the middle of this week with all the games that are going on, we've also got transfer deadline. And our guest today, I'll have a few thoughts on that. We got a very special guest coming in a couple of minutes. Want to pick up on another couple of things from the weekend. It was a much better weekend for predictions. We talked last week about how a lot of teams struggled. You saw the return of Liverpool. They came back in style. Sam was very excited that they didn't score 10 goals and take the outright record for the largest victory in Premier League history, but they equaled it with a 9-0 win over Bournemouth. And then City were just phenomenal again, 2 down and coming back to win 4-2. There was obviously United continuing their form, but across the leagues there was just a lot more points scored on games. There's a lot more predictability this week. Tottenham winning at Forest as well was a steady win for them. And of course, for me, I was absolutely excited by the Burnley's performance at Wigan and finally putting some goals in the net that we've been threatening to do. And now we actually have 2 games before Saturday. So this is a crazy week. It's an exciting week. So we're going to bring Alan in. I usually would share the trivia question, but because it's quite a long one, I'm going to wait to ask Alan the trivia question because it's got a big Everton theme this week, and we will be giving the answer by the end of the show. It's a tough one. If you're an Evertonian, you might be able to get it. If not, you're probably not going to get all 5 answers correct. So without further ado, let's bring in Alan Ball, who's coming to us from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Alan, how's it going?
Going great, Andy. How about you guys?
We're doing great. It's amazing to see you and have you on. I don't think you had a beard the last time I saw you, so it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been quite a while, yeah.
What was behind that? Just getting ready for the cold winter in Myrtle Beach?
Well, with the cold winter for like a month, yeah. No, it's almost hurricane season, isn't it? So that's what we're waiting for.
Well, Alan, we got a lot to get through. We want to discuss a few things about your thoughts on the season so far. But we always like to ask our guests why you are what you are. Why are you an Evertonian?
I don't think I had much choice, did I? Because my name's Alan Ball. There's only one team I could support. And, you know, since the age of 7 or something, we've always been you could always hear the crowds when the cheering, you know, when Everton scored. I've always lived within that distance. So there was no other choice. I think I had no choice. It was always going to be that and nothing else. What else could I do, Andy?
Were you actually named after Alan Ball?
Yeah. It was my dad's favourite player. And I think he went to Arsenal, I think, the year after I was born. So, yeah, he was there.
No relation.
No relation. My dad would say that I never really seen him play, but he said he wouldn't stop running, always kept going as a midfielder.
And it obviously made his name even, I don't know he was an Everton player in 66, right, when he was in the World Cup?
Just afterwards, and then I think he left in 74, then when I was born, that's when Then he went to Arsenal after that.
Well, Alan, I mean, I'll tell a quick story about how you and I met. We were actually at a rugby game involving South African teams, and we have a mutual friend who's South African, and that's how we met. And immediately, two Northerners, we got talking, found out we both like football, and at that point, I don't think many Premier League games were on TV. Maybe one a weekend, and you had access to the Everton-Liverpool derby from that day. And I was keen to watch it because I've always had a soft spot for Everton and never liked Liverpool. So, and it was when you won 3-0. And I
can't even remember that day. I should remember, shouldn't I? I should remember all the wins because there's not that many.
And I remember Andy Johnson scored for you and played really well. But that was our first meeting, and we watched a torrent that you downloaded from somewhere. And that
I don't even know where now. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that part. Yeah.
I mean, in those days, you were actually the one who got me torrents, and that's how we started being able to watch more. Because in those days, Burnley weren't even in the Prem. But it's amazing when you think from then to now how much better coverage we get of the Premier League here.
I think it's really good with Peacock, because if you've got Peacock, it's almost every game. I think it's really good.
Yeah, and it wasn't always that way. You used to have to go to a pub or download a torrent or...
Yeah, definitely.
Slowly, I think it started in, because you and I would get together Saturday mornings, each other's house, watch games, but it still wasn't like it is now with the apps and everything.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There were some dodgy streams and that was about it, but they'd always cut out and, yeah. It's kind of
Alan, I appreciate you being able to get them for me back in those days. I think I've still got some recordings on an old computer of some great games from those days.
Yeah.
Do you have an Everton favorite goal? Like, do you remember one?
I think one of the most famous is the Wayne Rooney one, where remember the name against Arsenal. I think NBC used that in all their promos. But mine has got to be, it goes back further than that. It's Graham Sharp at Anfield, and I think it was 84-85. You've got to go and watch that one, Sam. It's a cool goal. It's like a half volley from outside the area at Anfield, so it can't get better than that.
I'll give it a check.
And for some of the younger fans watching, Alan, they won't realise those days, for us to go back and watch a goal, you would have to VCR match of the day. And I'm sure I remember watching that goal again and again and again, because me and my younger brother had a soft spot for Everton, and then beating Liverpool after all those years. We watched that goal so many times. It even became famous for the aeroplane guy. There was a guy in the crowd who looked like Terry off Brookside with a sheepskin jacket just going like this.
Yeah, so whenever anyone ever talks about best or favorite goal, that comes to mind first. So yeah, it's got to be that one.
It's actually a ground-changing goal, ground-shifting goal in terms of that was the moment at which you started to take the title off them and become the stronger team in Merseyside.
Yeah, and more recently, one of my other favourites, which sticks with me for some reason, is a Lukaku goal against Arsenal, and it was just one of those goals. It was just like a good footballing goal, and it was at a time where we thought that we were going to do well with Martinez as the manager, and then I think we managed to keep hold of Lukaku after that season, and we thought it was going to go way better, but obviously not.
Yeah, a few false dawns since then.
Just a few, almost every season.
Well, that sort of brings us on to Alan. Like, what are your thoughts on? Obviously, last year we were involved in that relegation struggle with you. You guys got out of it brilliantly, really. And how do you feel the season's going now? Are you expecting an improvement? Is it where you would hope it would be at the moment?
I think it's where I expected it to be. I think it's a weird thing that I saw the other day is that people have been talking about Forest and how many new players they've got. But if you look at Forest's team from a year ago today and Everton's team, Forest had 3 players that they've got today that they played this time last year. Guess how many Everton have got? 2. Pickford and Gray. The rest of the team is entirely different from a year ago. And so, everyone's talking about how Forest need to see how well they can gel together and stuff like that, and that'll depend on how well they do this season. It's the same for Everton. It's just we're in exactly the same position as Forest. And I think, might be a little bit biased, but I think our quality of player that we've got is better than Forest's overall.
Oh yeah.
So I would expect us to finish around 14th or 15th. That's what I would expect. But I think it's going to be rough over the next month or two. I think if we go into the World Cup out of the bottom three, I think everyone will be happy.
Wow.
And it'll save Lampard's job.
Interesting. So do you think if they were in the bottom three at that point, Lampard will be under possibly lose his job?
Definitely. And I think the only two things that I think not putting them under pressure now is Man United losing so bad at Brentford, and also Steven Gerrard. And I think those two things, if it wasn't for those two incidents, I think the media would be under Lampard a lot more. But I think, this weekend, for the next, after Leeds tomorrow, it's Liverpool and Arsenal. And so it could after the next three games, we could be in the bottom three very easily.
So you got Leeds away this week?
Leeds away tomorrow, and then Liverpool, then Arsenal.
Yeah. Tell me about watching you this season compared to last. Do you feel like obviously you're not scoring enough. We'll get onto that. But do you feel defensively they're stronger this season?
On paper, yes, but the entire back five, because we're playing with two wing backs and three centre backs, so it's five defenders. Even back to, again, if you go back a year, all five of those players weren't in the team. Yeah. You've got a new left back, a new right back, and two new centre backs that all came in between January and now. So it's kind of, I think we've got to temper expectations because it's an entirely new defence. I think on paper it's better than we had last year, but it's going to take time for them to meld together. Plus, three of them have got injured over the last 4 games, along with Doucouré and also Calvert-Lewin. So half the team's got injured before the first 4 games have ran through.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of reasons for why there's so many more injuries. It seems at the start of the season.
Well, I think that's why Lampard's got to have a bit more patience. Well, patience with Lampard, because there's so many changes and so many injuries. See, Gerrard, I think the expectation on Gerrard is higher because he was given the support of the players that he's brought in, and so there's no other mitigating circumstances. If they're failing now, I think it's more on the performance of the team, where there's a lot of excuses / reasons with Everton.
Yeah.
So I think that's bought Lampard a little bit more time.
Yeah. Looking at it from the outside, I can see you need a striker if Calvert-Lewin's injured. How do you feel about Maupay coming in, and do you think there'll be any more business this week? I think
Maupay has always been a backup, because you know how much I love Rondon. So yeah, so he's an improvement on Rondon, but he's still not. Yeah, I think there's still talk of 2 or 3 more players coming in, and it really depends on. I think if they sell Anthony Gordon, there was a rumor today that there was going to be an exchange with Chelsea. Anthony Gordon going to Chelsea, and then Gallagher and Broja coming to Everton plus some money.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah.
I think Gordon will end up staying.
That wouldn't be a bad. Both those two impressed me playing on loan for teams last year. Chelsea just seem to keep finding players.
Yeah, and really for the money they're talking about Gordon going for, I would definitely sell him, because
was it like 100? Was it like 100 million, something like that?
I think it starts at 40. Now it's up to 60.
Oh.
So I would take the hand off, definitely.
Now you're one of the teams linked with Brereton Diaz from Blackburn, who I'm hearing is like the best striker in the division on his day. So
that's what people are saying. He's getting a bit of hype around him. Do you think he'll end up going somewhere before the end of the window?
I think so. From what I'm hearing, but you're one of the usual suspects. It always seems to be players you go for that West Ham, Aston Villa, Leeds. Those 4 are linked with the same players all the time. So I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
Maybe.
I guess. Yeah.
There's also a player at Ajax that they've been linked with. That's another Richarlison replacement. But the problem there is they don't want him to go because they're selling Anthony to United.
Yeah, 100 mil, it's a bit much.
Yeah, definitely. But it's people are desperate now for players, so they'll spend anything, especially United and Chelsea. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, Alan, I wanted to let you know that you obviously last year you were our Predictions League champion, and you actually had a really good weekend this weekend. Did you know that?
I think I saw a couple of the games on Sunday, the Tottenham game, and I think it was the Newcastle game as well. I think I got both those predictions right, but yeah, it was off to a slow start there.
Yeah, there's a few teams did a lot better this week, but you being one of them. You've been so consistent the last few years. I mean, it took you a while to finally win it. What do you put your success down to?
I think when Everton do well, I do badly, and the other way around. So it took a relegation battle for me to win. So
well, you see, low expectations of Everton will score you a lot of points.
Definitely.
I can't imagine why you'd have low expectations.
Well, the funny thing is with us having a new stadium in the future, I may have to change my name soon because it won't be Goodison anymore.
Oh yeah, Goodison's great, of course. Your team name. Well, Alan, we got a quick trivia question for you, and it's got an Everton theme. So, in the last 100 years, there have been 5 Everton players who have been top of the goal scoring charts in the top division, and you guys have been in the top division forever. Do you know which 5 Evertonians were top scorer in the top division over the last 100 years? And I think 4 of these are really gettable, and the other one is I would not have known it.
Oh, okay. All right, so Dixie Dean.
Correct.
Gary Lineker.
Correct.
All right, now I'm struggling. You know?
We'll come back to it, okay?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, Alan, there's no easy way of doing this because we're even though we're in the same country, we're a long way apart, and I think you know we got a cup a couple of years ago for the winner. But at least I felt like we needed to do an online presentation for you today. We hadn't forgotten about it, but we needed to get the inscription made and the ribbons. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's probably.
Oh yeah.
You can see at the bottom.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah, I like it.
Alan, it's been a long time since you've seen blue and white ribbons on a cup. It's been certainly not in this millennium, I don't think.
And a long time yet. 95. 27 years.
I thought about that for a trivia question, but I knew you'd know it. So.
Oh yeah, it's common knowledge. It's too easy.
A little touch you might like. So we got the blue and white and kind of silver. And I thought that was fitting because that was one of my favorite away kits of all time was your silver one in 1985.
I know the one you're talking about, yeah.
Did you have that kit?
Too. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I used to have that as a kid.
You did?
Wish I still did.
It might be a
few more years before we get some more blue ribbons on a trophy as well. It'll be a while longer.
Well, you never know. You never know. Well, we'll obviously be watching. We're always watching Everton. I didn't enjoy last season with. I don't mind Leeds either, and having us 3 at the bottom. So there we go. There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to hold it with me? And we'll work out how to get this to you, Alan. I'll be making some trips over your way, so maybe we can get it on your mantelpiece before the end of the season. And who knows, maybe you'll retain it.
Sounds good. Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see.
So, Alan, do you want to have a stab at the other ones you missed? You got Dixie Dean, Gary Lineker.
My mind is blank, Andy. You'll have to tell me who they are.
We got Bob Latchford in 1978 with 30 goals.
Bob Latchford walks on water.
And we've got Tommy Lawton, who was actually one of the many Burnley young players who ended up at Everton. He did it 2 seasons.
Wow.
And the one that I thought you would get first, Alan, in 1924, Wilf Chadwick.
No. I can't believe I should have got 3. I should have got Bob Latchford. But yeah, the other 2, yeah, wouldn't have got them.
Well, those are the 5. So, did you have a quick chance to look over the weekend's games that we've got coming up? I know we got midweek games.
Yeah. The good thing is that our pain is going to be over early on Saturday, and I'm glad Southampton. Sorry, not Southampton. Bournemouth took the 9-0 hit this week, so hopefully Liverpool got all their goals out of them for the week, and I'd happily take 0-0 right now.
What do you think, Sam?
Any kind of goal.
I don't know. I feel like was that Liverpool performance against Bournemouth. They'll want more. Especially
Don't
when they
say
lost
that.
to us. When they lost to Man U, everyone expected Liverpool to win or destroy us. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Liverpool might just take it.
Is Nunes back for them?
No, he's still out. Nunes is still out, but I
Well,
feel
that's
like
positive.
I think so.
And see, I'm gonna say one thing which will probably kill me this weekend, but my big hot take for this season is that I think Salah is gonna have a poor season as far as goals.
Yeah, I said they won 9-0 and he did not even score a
Even
assist.
scoring. Yeah,
So it's like,
I think, and the theory behind that is it's kind of like Aubameyang's done the same thing. As soon as they got that big massive contract that they've been playing for, they just lost the momentum. And I think that's what's going to happen to Salah this year because he just got his nice big contract at Liverpool, and I think he'll do okay. He'll probably score a hat trick this weekend, but after that, I don't think he won't be the top scorer. I don't even think he'll be the top scorer at Liverpool.
Interesting. Well, I mean, Liverpool have had this phenomenon of doing incredibly well points-wise, and the season after their highest points totals, they've not done as well. And I feel like this season, especially when I watched them against United, they've a few people missing. They're missing Mane for me.
Thiago for sure. Thiago is the main one. I feel like he's like the playmaker.
He was actually really strong at the end of the season. So when's he back?
I think mid-September.
I fancy you to get a point, Alan. I think you're looking stronger at the back. I like Cody, and obviously I like Tarkovsky. I think
We're
you
still
might be
leaking
surprised.
goals. We're still leaking goals, and I think it's too soon. I just think we're shaky at the back. I mean, Brentford hit the woodwork 3 times on Saturday. We could have easily lost that game, and so
You tend to show up in big games, like if I think like Chelsea, Man U. You've not got a bad record against them. You need to do it against Liverpool in a derby for sure, but it could be the weekend. I fancy a point for Everton.
well, I think we're going to have a better shape because I think Mopay will play, and even some people, if we get some new players in as well, they might be on the bench at least. So we'll have a better shape at least. So we should have a striker, put it that way.
Yeah.
We still don't have much goals in us. So if we win, it'll be by 1-0, but I think we'll lose 4-1. That's what'll happen. There's my prediction.
Well, I haven't had a chance really to look over the other games this weekend. Was there anything else that you noticed?
Well, I think Arsenal will win at United as well. I think Arsenal will be the ones that challenge City this year. I think the top 6 is going to be the top 6 teams, but I think it'll be City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, United. I think that's the top 6.
Yeah,
And outside
our
today,
first week, I still think Tottenham are going to do better than Arsenal. I just think they're going to be so hard to beat with their system, and obviously Kane, and they're going forward. They're a good counter-attacking team.
yeah,
I think Arsenal will still struggle when they get. That is a big game. If they go and win at United, that will definitely.
it'll be a big test, especially after this weekend. It'll be a big test, definitely.
Yeah.
And so, see, Tottenham at home to Fulham. So as well, if Arsenal don't win, then that's where the jump will happen.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting that it's not just the top 2 miles ahead. Though they both did look very good on Saturday, so we'll see if that doesn't take off soon enough. But City looking invincible, don't you think?
Pretty much. I mean, Haaland's just hit the ground running. There was talk of Nunes and Haaland, who's going to score more. I think we already have that answer.
Absolutely. All right, Alan. Well, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure to have you on. I want you to get one more look at it. This is yours. You're a winner.
I appreciate that, Andy. Thanks, Sam.
You don't want to give anyone any tips on your secrets?
You know what? I really wish it was just more down to luck. I think more than anything, listen to your gut. That's all I'll say.
That's great advice.
That's it.
Well, it worked for me this week. I didn't tell you this. There was a couple of teams that got 21 points with you, but one team got 22. Do you know who it was?
Wow. Who was that?
It's one of us 2.
Oh, okay. Sam?
No. Now, I was next to the bottom and I've been horrible, but I actually did pretty well this week. So I only picked you by 1. There was like 4 teams we got a new team, Wally Claret. He got your score, same as you. So did the Riversiders as well. But that family has an Everton connection. Their daughter-in-law is a big Everton fan. So I'm hoping John will be watching this this interview. Alan, it's been great. We'll see you in Myrtle Beach sometime, or unless you want to come out and be live in Las Vegas with us.
That'd be nice. I'll speak to you soon, Andy.
Best
Bye,
luck
Sam.
with the season. I know we'll talk again. Thanks.
All right, bye.
Yeah,
Have a good
bye.
one. Well, that was amazing to have Alan with us. He's just a great friend and a great guy. Loves his football and loves his Everton, but I always enjoy a chit chat with him about all things football, and that was great. Hope you enjoyed it. What are your plans for the weekend, Sam?
Nothing much. What probably? Let's hope United beat Arsenal.
That game's on Sunday, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
But I do got a question. After that Burnley 5-1 win, you think you'll do it again this week? A win? Maybe, I don't know.
well, potentially 2 wins, but I'll go with what I said when Freddie was on. I think by the end of August, you're going to see one way or another, and right now it's looking good because that was a very impressive performance. We just look so good going forward. So
So you think you'll win twice?
I think we should beat Millwall. I think we have to beat
This-
Millwall. I think West Brom away is one of the hardest games of the season, and that's on Friday. If we can go there and get a point, I think that would be a really good result. Anything
Okay.
better than that,
Yeah.
I'm starting to say, wow, look out, we could have a great season. So
Yeah. Well, no, wrap it.
and that's a wrap. So we'll leave you with. What are we leaving with?
I'll probably win it this year. I don't know.
Yeah, we've been having fun with this for quite a few years. It's got a bit more serious each time, and maybe next season, if you're watching this, you'd like to be a part of it. We can send you the games each week. You can practice. You're gonna be behind if you join now, but you can practice weekly, and then next season join us. So this thing's getting bigger every year. It's getting a bit more serious every year. Well, we've even started a podcast. So we'd love to connect with you in any way. If you want to share this link, if you want to comment, if you want to be subscribed to our podcast. We're going to be doing a lot more fun things throughout the season. But thanks for another week. All the best. A great football week. Enjoy the games. Don't bother following the transfer window. There's nothing you can do about it. Enjoy the transfer window and enjoy the transfer window. And I hope your team gets who you want.
No, say that again.
As they say, you got to be in it to win it.
Yep.
Well, enjoy the games this week. Enjoy the transfer window. And we'll see you again soon. We're going to go out with some great Everton goals.